Hi, my name is Joseph, or the Shitty Blacksmith on social media. Now, I'm in a different place because in my room the air conditioner is really loud and doesn't have an off button. And I was trying to get into the recording studio that I found on campus, but I don't have entrance to that, so I picked a classroom. Anyway, today we'll be reading from Job chapter 36, and I'll be reading verses 8 through 12. If people are bound with chains and trapped by the cords of affliction, God tells them what they have done and how arrogantly they have transgressed. He opens their ears to correction and insists they repent from iniquity. If they serve him obediently, they will end their days in prosperity and their years in happiness. But if they do not obey, they will cross the river of death and die without knowledge. So there's a picture here that we can put together in our own mind. Imagine that you've been trapped down by a bunch of cords and chains and they're holding you down and you can't get loose, but you have a friend with you. And if that friend tried to pull you out, then they would have to rip you apart in order to get you out. But they could back up and they could see all of the cords and chains and how you needed to maneuver yourself to get out of the situation. And they were telling you instructions. So your choices would be to either follow their instructions and get out of the situation, stay there and die, or try to get out on your own, probably make the situation even worse than it already was, and you'd still die because you couldn't get out. This is the picture that Job is planting for how God works. Job was in a bind, if you will. He was going through some really hard times, and he was trapped down by these cords. And so maybe if God had just pulled him straight up out of it, it would have been worse for Job. Maybe it would have hurt him even more because it wouldn't have grown his faith as much, or it would have put him in another situation, or I don't know. But the point is, God had a reason for not just pulling him out of the situation. But God was giving him instructions. God was teaching him out of love, teaching him how to get out of the chains that bound him, because it was past tense. And so his choices were to either stay and spiritually just be dead, or to follow God's instructions, to grow his faith, to grow his relationship with God, and get out of the chains that bound him, get out of the oppression and the sorrow. Now he lost his whole family. If you've ever lost a family member, you'll know that that's something that you're going to miss them for the rest of your life. But you don't have to hold on to that. You can give it to God. You can follow his instructions to get out of the trap and just give the pain to God. That works in any situation, whether it's death or you lost something or you had a bad day, you're going through a stressful situation, you're having problems with money, whatever the situation is. Just accept God's instructions and grow closer to God and grow your faith in God. I hope that this video has helped you in your personal walk with God. And if you haven't watched the previous chapters of Job, I really encourage you to do that, because Job is a really good book, and all of the chapters work together so well with each other that you need to start at chapter 1. And if you haven't read those chapters, I also encourage you to watch the videos that go along with them. I hope you come back for tomorrow's video and read Job 37.